Hello.
Hello.
Hey, yeah, how you doing?
I'm just finishing up a comp game right now.
Oh, nice. How is that going for you?
It is 1-to-1 on Flashpoint.
Oh, okay. You can screen share as well if you want to. If you're finishing that up, let's just look at the game.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. We're in the middle of a.
Yeah, it's okay. Between fights, when you have
Oh, I
time.
fixed my hook. Okay, well, I don't have time.
Well, yeah, perfect. Okay, let's watch. What do we got? Alright, so you guys have decent poke on the team there. Should be okay as long as you're just able to play the long fight in a way. Okay, we need to look for hook opportunities as well. See what other options, if possible. And there always has to be. Like that Reaper is a great opportunity. Yeah, that was close. That was close.
Yeah, that was unlucky.
That's alright, that's alright. That was a good hook on a Reaper though. You punish them. Once they use
Yeah,
Chef,
if
they
I would
kind of
have,
go deep.
I feel like if I had taken a step back, I probably would have gotten him off the edge, though.
Yeah, yeah. That's okay, that's okay. To be honest, I'm not sure if they have a TP or not, because if they do, then they could have TP out too. So, something to watch out for.
Oh,
Okay, that's alright. If you have time, you definitely want to search for options so you get around the run shield, because otherwise it's gonna be really tough. You don't want to fight face to face versus him. Try to make him rotate off angle somewhere. It should be
yeah. I
much
thought when
easier.
I had popped, I thought when I popped that ultimate that I had pushed the brig back with, and then I turned around and she was abusing my Alari behind me.
Yeah, well, that's okay. That's okay. Well, anyway, I just want to hear, how do you think the improvement's going so far? We went over some of the basics before, was timing, the setup, how the work is on
Been
those.
I've been doing a lot better with the setup stuff, looking where my team is before a fight. The um quick peeking, but I think the I'm having the most trouble like with the timing stuff, like whenever my team's attacking or whenever their team's attacking, like being active whenever they are.
Right.
Um,
Did you look to scout before the fight actively? Just to look around, check where most of your team is, anticipate the area as well. How that's been.
I have been looking around, but a lot of times, um, I've also been what's the word? Predicting incorrectly on what my teammates would do. And so if I'm like, oh, okay, well my Reaper's up there, maybe he'll be like teleporting into the fight, and instead he just jumps in right behind me.
Hmm. I see. I see. Well, do you try to predict just based on their cooldowns a lot? Like, for example, that example you mentioned, the Reaper, when they're in a position, expect them to TP and maybe use some of the cooldowns. Do you just look into that? Or is there anything else as well you scout for?
I try to predict off of mostly not necessarily cooldowns, but like what I would think would be a pretty valuable play, right? So if you know I'm coming into, for example, a flashpoint with I have a Reaper who's up on the high ground, and we're all walking in, and he could teleport behind the team, and you'll get at least a pick or two, maybe even on supports. That's what I think. I'm like, okay, so that's what he's gonna do. And then like 2 seconds later, I look down and he's just standing next to me, and I'm like, oh, hi.
I see it. I see. Okay, I see what you're doing. So this is not a bad thing, to be honest. You just try to think about the cooldowns, what they might do with those. But a lot of times, to be honest, especially because we cannot control what they can do, I think the good starter is usually just look into where you expect them to position, just not based on the cooldowns, but just based on if they would walk normally. Yeah, just kind of look at their line of sight and try to predict. Okay, like that Reaper's on top. Yeah, don't maybe anticipate they might be or not. Yeah, usually that might be not the most convenient thing because there's so many variables included. It's just what the enemy might do, what the enemy, what your team can do as well. And so just start with a simple their position and line of sight, and just try to set up based on that. Basically, yeah. Ideally, honestly, you can't even think about just trying to set up for just average scenario, yeah? Because what you're trying to predict there is kind of ideal play, yeah? Like maybe if they could try to go and maybe get a few picks with the TP, right? But it's not always going to be the case. So I think it's just usually we're trying to maybe lower our expectations, but just look at the simple stuff. You kind of say, okay, those guys positioned there, probably. Yeah, you don't have to be the most accurate, but you just look at, okay, they're positioned there, their line of sight are here. That's where they fight. That's maybe can be good solution to that, because yeah, you definitely will also expect that the higher tier and again, you also get better at a lot of the stuff, so your predictions will be more accurate. But yeah, start with positional stuff, maybe. Yeah, what do you think? Would that be a good
Yeah,
approach? Yeah.
yeah, I think that would be a better idea. Just kind of trying to figure out where they would be and not instead of what they're gonna do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think that might be good. Well,
And
also.
also, I
Mhm,
think it
mhm.
also comes to being, the tank being aware of where your team is during the fight as well, not just before it. So that if, I see often that my Reaper's diving, or if I see my Reaper's usually playing next to me, then I can usually be able to figure out what they're gonna play for when we get into the fight.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Yeah, can be good solution. We can definitely also watch how that's gonna be, but that's kind of what we did. I think mostly in the live play as well before. Is just we focus on where your team is. Most of the time, yeah, we just only wanted to look. Yeah, we're not focused on the cooldowns too much. And to be honest, that's how you can approach that at the start. You want to basically, it's kind of similar thing as. I'll give you an example. There have been a few recent sessions with a fire player, and a lot of times they have a pocket mercy with them to just fly in and help them out, right? And it's quite frequent. Maybe you might have that mercy player, but because you have those expectations that the mercy will be with you, sometimes they go overly aggressive, right? But why that
Yeah,
happens, because you expect them to be with you, but that's why you
they
just do.
expect to have that excessive healing on them at all times and all the damage, so they're
Yeah.
expecting like
Yeah.
the improved stats on it and the improved performance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's why they go overly aggressive, and that's why it's so important to focus not on exactly what your team could do, but what are they doing now. When you actually see them going in, then that makes sense. You adjust. You see them tipping. Okay, perfect. That can be your next step. But the first of all, we'll look at the position. So I would scout for Mercy. I would maybe in your case scout for Reaper, and then next, if they actually committing, okay, perfect. I can be more aggressive. If not, be more passive. Yeah, the cooldowns is just that is another thing. Yeah, just commitment. You remember we talked about that. When they make a commitment, I can go, okay, well, timing's been harder, but that's okay. Setup's been better. That's great. Are there any other difficulties at the moment? What do you think?
Um, I was actually about to say this because I just played this game right here. I don't know if you're still looking, but this Blizzard
Yeah, I'm
Road
looking.
game, we won it, but I've had a issue with I had an issue with their tank with a Zarya, so I would send you this. You can pause it whenever you want to.
Yeah, of course, of course. So it's mostly just difficulty versus Daria. That's what you fine.
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
their tank was Zarya, and I kept running into issues fighting her, and also I ran into an issue fighting Junkrat a lot too. But I think that's mostly from like the increase in pressure from fighting Zarya, that the Junkrat just was able to hit me a lot more than I feel like he usually would.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, let's look into that. Sure, why not? Just make sure you copy, paste that game. Let's look at that, and then we can quickly do live game, hopefully, as well. Okay. I'm gonna screen share in a second. Here we go. All right. Can you see the stream?
My Discord is acting a little weird. There we go. I can
Yeah,
see it.
yeah, it's okay. Sometimes the servers are acting a little bit weird too, so it's all good. Okay, one more additional thing I wanted to ask. What's your current warm up, if we have warm up at all? I remember we wanted to go over that a little bit, but yeah, can you
I
remind me?
usually I'll sit in the I'll sit in the training area for a little bit just to make sure my head's on my head's on straight, I guess you could say, because like I usually play with controller, so sometimes swapping keyboard and mouse, I'll walk around and shoot, make sure I got my sensitivity down back, and then I'll hop into a quick play, and then I'll usually just, depending on how well or bad I think I did in the quick play, if I did pretty well, then I'll usually just hop into a comp game, and that'll
Mm-hmm.
be my warm up. But if I feel like I needed to do a lot better, then I'll probably hop into like a couple more quick plays,
Mm-hmm.
or even if like I'm just realizing that I'm not hitting my shots, I'll probably swap to like a death match or something just to see if I can do a little bit better on my aim on actual people.
Okay, okay. Are you swapping between mouse and keyboard to controller quite frequently?
I wouldn't say it's like super frequent, but like not at least right now, but like I do also play like my Xbox a lot normally. So I would say like not on Overwatch, not frequently, but when I'm like normally, yes, I'm usually playing on my
Hmm.
Xbox a lot, and I'll swap to my computer mostly for Overwatch or some other games. But
Hmm.
I've been on my PC for most of the day, so I was kind of already fine when I got on. So I think today I sat around for a little bit in the practice range for about like 5 minutes, and then I hopped into a quick match, and that was
Okay.
pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, why I'm asking that because the character you play is pretty mechanical as well. The mechanical aspects of the hook are so important. Just when you hit it, how you saw that as well, and partially a lot of times when players kind of swap between certain settings, certain maybe mouse and keyboard and controller in your case, there might be some drops in the performance. So if you can, Adila, I usually recommend just lean towards one. It's either controller or mouse and keyboard. Ideally, it has to be mouse and keyboard, of course, to be honest, because it allows you to be better at those small micro readjustments. Yeah, this game definitely requires that, especially if you're playing something like Hog. I think might be easier for you to hit the stuff. Yeah, that is just something to address. And with warm up, I, to be honest, it's okay to do the quick play again. Just whatever routine allows you to stay on track as well. Just be mentally prepared. But maybe I also would suggest to try to put yourself in situations under pressure a little bit more frequently, so and try to practice in more challenging situations, let's put it this way. So what I usually recommend whenever you play high mechanical characters as well, maybe try this type of warm-up. I'm just gonna show you this real quick. This can be good because there's a lot of random movement. The characters moving left, right, a lot of chaos, sort of. So you get used to everything faster. The point of warm up, to be honest, it's not. Well, of course, partially it's to prepare mentally, but if we're just talking about normal warm up, what is the purpose of that as well? It's for first off mechanics. Make sure you warm up mechanics because there's no thing is in just try to warm up your decisions or positioning. Yeah, we don't have that sort of stuff. So it's just mostly like you go in a gym. Yeah, you do quick stretches or something. Yeah, and this is exact same thing. Might be good to do. So here, what the things for you to practice are just mainly this. Yeah, just maybe looking to hook properly and making sure it's consistent, yeah, making sure you kind of adjusting to all that movement. Yeah, I'm seeing, okay, like there's a Genji and Ana jumping around, yeah, like making sure I'm able to hook them. Maybe there's someone else like Kiriko I want to hook, maybe there's a Trace, so it doesn't matter what, but the more you practice, these is gonna be, because there's a lot of chaotic movement. There's only one downside though with this. What do you think is the downside with this type of training? Yeah.
They're not shooting you back.
Yeah, they're not shooting you back, exactly. So there's no pressure, and that's why it might be that as well something to add as well. Quick play can be okay. A dash march is also okay in your case, I think. Or there's also another thing you can do if you can ever find a lobby, because I'm not sure if you can find it in NA server especially, but sometimes there will be, when you write down FFA, tryhard FFAs, those are just fine if they allow you to play Hog, of course, because I think in most of those you're not able to. So if you're not, then probably do this Waxta and quick play, and yeah, if maybe this allowed, then you can just go play Hog there as well. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think I'm 70% certain that the Hog is not allowed because he's just really good at 1v1s.
Yeah,
But
it's just easy kills.
yeah, easy kills. That's why do that much quick play, yes. But I also recommend this Waxta, to be honest, for the best movement. And as what I saw now first session and in this play as well, because as a Hog, what's important for you is not really hitting a lot of shots, it's just hitting that one good hook, okay? So your practice, it's a lot about your crosshair placement, it's just when you hit stuff. So, for example, here, there's a shotgun, okay? A lot of characters have shotguns. For example, Reaper has those, maybe User Hog, yeah, you also have that sort of shotgun. Your idea is, a lot of times, to not spam shots and hold your fire, but make sure, instead of you doing this, because when you do that, I will show you, for example, here, when I hold the fire, there's a chance for me to miss that second shot, or maybe the third shot. Instead of that, usually you're trying to always click on the target when you know, okay, my crosshair placement is pretty convenient. Yeah, I'm readjusted the crosshair, and then I'm clicking. And why it's useful as well, because you're also getting used to hooking at the proper time. So instead of kind of holding and maybe using it too early, you can take your time and hook the person at the right moment.
Yeah,
because
I don't ever hold down my button when I'm using Hog. I always click because I always want to make sure my shots are hitting on target and that they're not just coming out willy-nilly.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so you can partially practice that with hitting shots and hooks as well. But yeah, it's just something to add. But it's fine. We'll look at the game. Yeah, let's look at the game. Maybe there's some mechanical stuff to bring up. But yeah, for now, I'm just gonna write down try out Wax, maybe see if you like it. Just against random movement, we might get used to the mechanical stuff as well, so it's easier to hit shots, to be honest. And yeah, another thing is leaning towards ideally PC would be the best if you can. But yeah, just my suggestions. Okay, and yeah, for warm-up, usually it's 10-15 minutes. You don't have to spend more typically. Okay, let's look into this replay then. Yeah, any questions about the warm-up though?
No.
Oh, this replay exists already.
It's right there.
Yeah, okay. Let's take a look. We got this Blizzard World, I think. It's okay map for you. You have a lot of decent sidelines to work around. Let's see how our first hook is. Okay, so we kind of wait. Pressure, and probably looking for the hook really soon. This might be Zarya bubbles, so will be difficult to get a kill right away.
They're there.
Yeah. That's alright though. We did land the hook. Constant pressure uptime. Was almost perfect. Yeah, just kind of try to turn a little bit later.
I don't like about fighting a Zarya as Roadhog is that when I go to hook and I throw my hook in there, like to try and grab someone, usually Zarya looks roughly the same size as everyone else on the team. So sometimes I'll just end up hitting her instead of someone else.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
like, oh, that person looks squishy, and then it's Zarya, and I'm like, oh, that's not very squishy.
Yeah. And it's just partially getting used to the models, or really, you see the Zarya model, like, oh, okay, I don't like that. Potentially. Yeah, I
I
understand.
also found something else I had a lot of problems with in this round was that my team constantly kept just trying to break her bubble, and so she was just
Oh.
constantly at very high
Very hard
energy the
charge. Yeah.
entire game.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it would be they would try to break her bubble all the way up until she's almost dead, and it's like hello, hello, killed her.
Yeah, yeah. That's gonna be more difficult. Okay. Well, it's Junker as well. So, I have a few things to keep in mind. Well, it's just mostly our previous stuff, but yeah, just a look into when we talked about your. Let me make sure this is readjusted. Okay, 5 seconds. I think the first brush has been going right overall. And then when we look at this brush here, what do you think? So you're looking for the hook option, and then the Zara is gonna fight us face to face. What do you think about your position, first of all? What's your opinion?
Oh, so I'm there and I'm trying to shoot peek shoot, but the
Mhm.
problem is that as soon as I go to peek shoot, that Zarya is either come up behind me or come up right in my face. And if she's right in my face, then my teammates, I only have my supports, and my DPS
Right.
are. I mean, I didn't know where my DPS were. I think one of them
Yeah.
died, and so it's just me versus a Junkrat, Baptiste, a McCree, and Zarya.
Yeah, exactly. And see just how much damage is going into us. I think all that peek shooting before was fine. And now, is there any corner wanna peek shoot around currently where we should be at? What do you think?
I should probably be over by either the Moira or this one close left. If I'm on the
Yeah.
one close left, the only problem would be is that McCree could easily walk up that ledge and be above me.
Hmm?
But at the same time, even if I was over by Moira, he still could go up there and have an angle on me.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. You have a little bit more flexibility there, you're right. You have the long distance pressure, so you might hook them in. But you always want to
I
avoid
think
this.
it would have been better to cut left because then it would
Yeah.
also be easier for my teammates coming from spawn to have a sight line either through me or on me, and it would also cut sight lines from the enemy team to my teammates coming back from spawn.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, my supports are on the other side, and so it's either option kind of has its upsides and downsides. Because
Right.
if I go to the right, I have three teammates that are still alive over there, two of them being my supports, and so either I could divert attention by going to the
Mhm.
left, or I could try and put myself between them and my teammates and go right.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, we typically gonna prefer diverting the attention, I think, but the general idea is it doesn't matter if we divert attention or not, it's just partially of what we discussed on the setup. We talked about the cover lot, cover peak shoot. Of course, this still applies here, but another thing for you to keep in mind when you do all that stuff is you want to be at all times, you want to be exposed at one angle at a time if you can. So if I have multiple angles of pressure on me, and here you have three, in here you actually might have four even with this junk road. It's just because they go up a little, let's call it C1, they just go above. Okay, if this happens, it's gonna be not pass position for us, it's gonna be wrong position typically. So if we
Yeah,
choose one of these options, kinda at A and or B here, then cutting off the threats, and this way you're not getting as much bursted. Even though you might not get enough value as the hook, but your value is more prolonged in the fight. You're kind of taking slow fight, and you may be getting hooks on the Zarya, maybe getting hooks on someone else, but it's fine because you're draining resources. I just want you to see what that hook just done. This hook forced the lamp, which is much more expensive compared to your hook. But if it would play around the cover, then you would be able to stay alive because you're not exposed to everything. I'm not exposed to gas at the same time while also being exposed to those guys.
damage boosted Cassidy at that.
Yeah, exactly,
And
exactly.
if I had gone left, um, I would be not necessarily cut off from the Junkrat, but it would be a lot harder for him to hit me because of that corner.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Honestly, yeah,
Zarya would just have to walk forward, and then my Sojourn would have high ground on her.
yeah, exactly. Because I think the hooks are fine, and you getting resources for a start. You just want to make sure there's tanking. Like you do tank, but you need to tank more in a favorable space, and make sure you don't tank everything. You need to tank that damage which we want.
I
Yeah,
need to divert attention instead of just eating the attention.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. You can eat the attention, but don't eat attention of everything. You eat attention of what matters. So you, for example, here, if I'm pushing this Hagen here, it can be fine. It actually works for you. But if I'm exposed to too many other rivals, like this guy here, if I'm aware of that, I definitely want to be more careful about that, because there are just two angles of pressure currently, which can happen. But you definitely want to watch out for this. I'm not sure if we actually hear them there. Yeah, we kind of focused on the Junkrat, but yeah, anyway, this is what I mean. As when usually this stuff happens, you kind of, oh, well, there's just a lot of pressure, so I have to make sure I somehow isolate the enemy. You see, this is what you did in the way. This guy, even though they're pushing you, and there's Cassidy here, what I can do? Well, I don't know, maybe move in here, and then try to hook them in. So you will not be dealing with too many angles. There's Junkrat, but Cassidy appeared. It will happen sometimes. Two angles appeared right in front of me. But choose the one. Choose the one to deal with. You see, like this is where we die exactly. Yeah, because you're also trapped. That's understandable. Let's see your movement.
Yeah, I
I'm
was
moving
stuck in
left.
the Junkrat trap there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Junker trap, but then I'm moving left. So instead of moving left now, because I know the Junkrat's here, I just move this way because I keep this one angle at a time rule. You can also say one thread at a time, but I don't like it necessarily because sometimes you can have two threads here at the same angle, and that's why it might be difficult. But here there are two angles already, so this here and this. We don't want
My
that.
only problem with that is what I was thinking when I was in that spot was I knew my Kiriko was with me, and I didn't want to go back down the stairs because I knew the Zarya was outside. And if I'd gone down the stairs and call out came through and she turns around, then I have the entire team on me. And so I wanted to try and take at least a DPS and hopefully see if I could get if my Kiriko would have helped me, but I don't think she had her Suzu, and that's what I was kind of hoping for. She would save me from all doom.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what the problem is. Yeah, we just don't want to find ourselves in the spots where there's a big damage. Even though there's support supporting you, yes, it's a good reason for you to be more aggressive, but we cannot just be exposed to too many angles. Sometimes there's no choice, but maybe you'll get pressured. Like in this case, if you end up inside the room, yes, there's a high chance to be pressured by Zarya, but by the way, she's really distracted with the rest of your team, so that is something to keep in mind. And anyway, if we're exposed to this big damage A, B, or maybe we could be exposed to C, right? Now, what is going to be more beneficial, right? I mean, what is going to be safer for you to do? Exposed to A and B or A and C? Right? You see what I'm saying? Like, what's more dangerous, A and B together or A and C?
Even then, if I went down the stairs, Junkrat can bounce grenades down the stairs as well.
Right.
So it would have been A, B, and C still.
Right, but where it's easier for him to do so? When you're walking up the stairs or when you're walking downstairs?
Probably downstairs. Still.
Downstairs, right? So we want to go downstairs. Of course, there's still rebels, right? We're not saying they cannot hit you. We're just trying to remove their extra options and make it easy for them, make it harder, right? It's right what I say. Yeah, they can definitely bounce, but it's harder to bounce compared to the shots this way, right? So I just kind of small play, but hope that makes sense. It kind of allows us just to break down. Okay, how can we deal with an angle at a time, even though there also might be some exceptions, but yeah, mainly, you just have to be, have to keep those angles in mind. Like, for example, now, this definitely looks decent, kind of much better. You kind of have this choke here, this one angle at a time. Maybe I can force out something, not too much damage going into us. So this is perfect. Now, though, you see how many angles are currently at us now, right? There's so much damage coming in instantly. Okay, where should you be currently? So you deal with one angle at a time. Yeah, back to the rock. And that's where, until you reach the rock, you don't start shooting too much. So you can even remove that extra shooting and just make sure you get to setup first. Set up on time. Yeah, obviously, timing is another part to work on, but I think the cover for us is going to be so crucial. Just how I play, where I can be. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, we can win the fight with ultimate as well. Now, can probably do early pressure from here too. this looks decent usually. Yeah, being careful. Yeah, at this point we're stuck in a graph. That's fine. Happens. Okay. Pushing up, taking space. That's a good position to take. See, this is where it's tricky. Now, you see, you exactly end up in a situation where you might be exposed to too many targets. There's such a high risk for you to use a lot of cooldowns and not get too much benefit out of that, right? We still manage to stay alive, so this is great. But I definitely want you to try to think about what are my options at all times. So even that high gun, that was really good at the start. Yeah, like this is a good option. Yeah, I'm just looking to maybe get a lot of damage done. I think there's also, as an exception rule, if you recognize I'm able to get a kill, I think why not? I can maybe commit a little bit more. But then later on, watch what are the options for you to position instantly. So we not dealing with this on the right side, what we saw, because it seems I'm not sure if we know exactly where they make a commitment. Yeah, because we saw them on the right before, and because and if they could be here, I think there's a higher risk for us to die if we move that much forward, right? But in this case, if I maybe keep the angle this way, for example, or maybe I keep the angle this way, I'm removing possibilities for them to just walk from multiple directions at me, because you use a Hog, a pretty long range character, to be honest. Of course, there are some brawl capabilities too, but most of the strat, he comes from the long distance, so it's literally being really oppressive to this area, but doing it from here, or even the point angle, can still be fine. It's just a lot of those brawl matchups, when you play versus the Rhines, the Zarya, you don't fight face to face. You try to take extra angle, like what you did at the start, and just use the long distance. But yeah, one sweat at a time if possible. Yeah, do you have any questions about anything so far? I know this stuff seems pretty simple right now. Yeah, any questions?
I understand this stuff seems simple. It's simple things are always going to be what does the most to like help for people.
Yeah.
I think the biggest part of this was towards the end of this round, because that's when we started kind of not necessarily putting the Zarya in her place, but kind of like keeping her at range so we can play better against her.
Okay. There's a much better angle you chose as well. You definitely have those longer range options. So if you hook them in, then you kind of gonna put her in the kill zone, in your kill zone where your team can do damage. There's some small mechanical things, like I also saw that in your play as well. Yeah, just this stuff. Okay. I'm not sure. Well, when you trying to hook someone, it's just might be something to think about as well. I'm not sure if that's gonna be too much of a help compared to the positional stuff and the timing, but I think it's still valuable for you to think about, because you choosing your own cover, we mentioned, okay, I can position and deal with one angle at a time. You can also think how the enemy is gonna position and use their cover as well. So in this example, the Zarya is gonna be using this right side cover or something, or like the Junkrat is over here. I think this way, partially, it might make it easy for you to land the hooks as well, kind of be patient. Yeah, maybe play.
I actually did think about that in this round when I saw that that the Zarya was right in front of me and that the only cover she had was to go to her left, my right. That's when you'll see me. I think I rotate all the way around to the left to the open area, so that I'll have an angle. Yep. So I have an angle on the rest of her team as well, but she didn't use that cover. She ended up walking forward and getting melted by Bastion.
Yeah. Exactly. I think it's such a big help if you're able to anticipate where they go, what cover
This
they use.
funny.
Oh, okay.
Everyone jumped in the room and Bastion was like, "Oh look, free eats."
Okay. Let's see. And see, this is so much better sideline as well. I just wanted to notice, he started a much longer distance compared to where we fought at the second round, and when you've been in the choke as well. I mean, second point, and when you've been in the choke here too. Initially, it's just longer range pressure. This is where the hog is most useful when you have the hook, especially. So trying to just look to
Especially when I know the entire team's about to be standing behind that wall trying to shoot us,
yes,
and
yes.
hooked him out of his ultimate right there.
Yeah, exactly. And see, it's so much easier to do because you're less exposed to dealing with one angle at a time. You're not dealing with multiple. And now it's much more patient play. You can choose your fight, and it's making it easier because you choose the corner. You can always peek around the corner, peek, shoot. Yeah, but one angle at a time, less pressure, and it's gonna be easier for you to do all that stuff. To be honest, but like here, yeah, it seems. Just mechanically, it's just some anticipation how they're gonna move. They probably also see you doing the stuff. You know, there's a small thing about using the hooks just mechanically. You, generally speaking, want to find out what is the pattern of their movement. Just make sure you actually see what they're gonna be doing first. Maybe they, that their pattern is gonna be going left and right. Okay, so I can place my hook in between the pattern because your hook is projectile, and you exactly try to hit that when they're trying to do something. Maybe they're moving left and right. Okay,
I
then
predicted he was gonna go towards his team, not out in the
yeah.
open towards mine.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a little bit tricky. Like in this case, a lot of times, especially when you're looking at the high tier play, because they know that they're already looking at you. They walk right, and then you so left because you expect them to go left. Yeah, it's just maybe people at silver, well, maybe bronze sometimes. Yeah, like honestly, in gold, I would expect this guy to also walk left. To be honest, I would not expect him to go right. But yeah, against some
I was
just
expecting him to be a bit more conservative of his life since he just got revived.
yeah, exactly. But that's where, to be honest, at the high tier, that's where I expect the Cassidy to go because he exactly knows that.
Yeah, he knows that I'm gonna expect him to be conservative and
Yeah,
go left.
exactly. So you will typically see when they don't know what are you doing, kind of with the, well, if they, how do you put it? If they don't know that you about to hook them, then you have to be more patient. I mean, sorry, if they know, if they know that you can hook them, you have to be more patient. That's how I would put it. And if it's the other way around, then you can
But
definitely.
honestly,
Mhm.
I would say at the same time, him moving right could also have been expected because he knows he has a Zarya. So he really could have been like, "Oh, well, I'm walking out in the open because I know she could bubble me if I get in trouble."
Well, maybe, but to be honest, I wouldn't focus on that. I'm not sure if they focus on that too much, but yeah, at least what they will try to do, they will try to throw you off, really, because they know that you probably expect them to walk left. So if they know that you can hook them, then be more patient, wait for the pattern. If not, if they're not looking at you, I'm fine with you looking right away. And that's why you missed the hook on the Zarya partially too, because she knew that you're there. And that's why the patience is going to be so important, just more mechanical. By the way, why that hook in the Cassidy was successful too? Well, they kind of knew where you are, but not exactly. Are you a little bit to the left, are you a little bit to the right? Yeah, so it's easier for you. Okay. Yeah, well, this is over. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, this is good. Nice. Okay, good hook. Alright. So, seems like you guys gonna win this. They're not gonna be able to touch. I just watched a little bit more of attack, and I think we're also gonna have time to do a game, but I think it's just gonna be quick play because we competitive might last a little bit longer sometimes. So yeah, if you're okay with that. But yeah, let's watch. I just wonder, when you break the defense, how is that gonna be? Yeah, this looks decent. We walk in, you deal with one set at a time, perfect. You also dealt with the most important one, that's good. And now this is where it's tricky. I think if you're exposed to too many, we just might put ourselves in too much pressure. Like, for example, doing this type of play where we go from here to here, I don't think it's too easy. It's too wideable because there's angle here they can shoot you. So maybe I would prefer I don't know, maybe possibility to do this way. Maybe try to also drop, but you gotta be really mindful how you're gonna be using cover over here as well. If you exactly know that they move out, but yeah, you have to be careful. It's definitely, you see, like, so much pressure on me. You're gonna have more of a chance to miss that hook. Yeah. So when I move up, by the way, yeah, how could you move up as well? So you're not exposed to too many angles right now. Where could you go?
Um, so looking at if I was looking at where they are right now, you
Yeah.
have the Zenyatta out in the open. You have, I think that's their Kiriko over there in the corner, and then
Yeah,
Zarya
that's
in
true.
this. You could technically play behind the blue cart, like on that ish side, but the only problem with that is you're really close to that choke where they come back from spawn. Or
Is it
you
a
can
bad
just
thing?
play the corner, or you could just play on that corner where my Kiriko and my um Bastion are, and
Hmm.
even if it's not for a long period of time, just a little short period of time, so that they can get around that corner as well with me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fine. Oh, honestly, you the way you cannot make them rotate by just defending them, staying with them. So it's definitely fine. Those options, example, this B here, or even C. Honestly, if you're able to just walk there, you probably will need to use a healing to just help you out to get there. But it's fine because the setup is the first priority. Get in the one angle at a time. You make them divert the attention. Your team walks forward, and this way you can take space. But definitely not this. We cannot allow ourselves to be really exposed. Yes, sometimes you're also not able to take off angle. In this case, we're kind of able to, just a little bit. But if not, then maybe play with your team, but one angle at a time at all costs if you can. So there's not too much damage going in your face. You cannot allow it because you don't have any shield as well. Well, you have healing, but it's not too much. You don't have a lot of sustain. That's the thing with any high burst characters. Those usually they don't have too much sustain because the way you create value is to sparkle pressure around whatever burst you got. Yeah, in your case it's hook. So you gotta be really mindful. Okay, one angle at a time, one angle at a time. Yeah, all times. How do I walk? Yeah, be sneaky around the corners and such. Yeah, like that was not too bad. You have one corner to deal with. Yeah, this is good. Also long range hook too. So that's perfect. Okay, I'm thinking we'll have some time. If you want, we could try to do a game and just deal with one angle at a time. Or if you have any questions, maybe you can look at the other replay as well a little bit. Maybe also review some other specific stuff. But yeah, do you want to try a game?
Yeah, we could do again.
Yeah, if you're okay. Yeah, let's do quick play probably, I think, because the comp might take a little bit longer.
I mean, I don't know. My comp games haven't been taking too long today. Like, most of them have been
I
around like
know,
11
but
minutes.
I just want to make sure I also can give you the full info after, so we have time for that.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, that's fine. It's okay. You can practice that later in the competitive as well. But yeah, I think let's do quick play. Mm, yeah. Okay. Stream is working. Yeah, it's looking good. Okay, just one angle at a time at all costs. It's always gonna be set up first and the fight later. Some of the more mechanical stuff too, but a less of priority. Like if they know that you can hook them, more patience. Wait for pattern. Like for example here, this Lucio exactly knows that he's fighting you. You have to be so much more mindful of what you're gonna be doing. It just try to hook between the pattern. Because they will try to throw you off really. Like that Cassidy tried to do. They just trying to move the opposite direction. You expect them to go. It's always funny the how you go, the more mind games there will be. Everybody kind of
Mhm.
try to read their mind 2 steps ahead, so the hog is gonna be definitely fun in this way. Alright, let's see. I think this is okay map. Overall, just wanna make sure you contest the top high ground. As the way, a lot of times, yeah, this hook from up top is great because a lot of people peek the bridge, so you can always pull them in. in a way. By the way, there are some tank players even they usually start on hog and then they swap to whatever because they look for their first hook and just expect somebody to stay in the bridge. But yeah.
We got Hanzo, Cassidy. May, Ash.
Okay, one angle at a time. Let's try this out. Of course, sometimes might be not as possible, but find your options. Yeah, we want to make sure you're not taking too much pressure.
A ball.
Yeah, that's okay. By the way, might seem a lot of times all the way left side is better option as well because of the long range space. You see, if you go up the left stairs, you're just able to provide more longer range sweat instead of going right. Just see, make sure you're not getting booped though. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. They knew you. Yeah. So with this, you just want to bait it. Yeah. You just go there, you bait it, you wait. If they walk that forward, you just hook them, and you're fine. If not, then you just walk forward. Yeah, they will try to do so. You can try it one more time, but you gotta bait it. Just be keep their shift in mind. It's usually Lucio and Ash who boops there. Okay, they're pretty far to be honest, so you can easily take that. Nice hook. Okay. Well. Yeah, one angle at a time, if you can. Well, we had disadvantage, but yeah. Watch what are the options. That's close. Nice, managed to stay alive again. Possibly, okay. Not sure if we. Oh, nice. Got left grip. Can stay alive there. Okay, pattern of the movement. In this case, they know that. You know. Okay. They also know, so you gotta take the time. Take the time. Yeah, exactly. Good. Pointing the crosshair between the pattern. Okay, we keep going one angle at a time and just find your angle. Okay, perfect. I think you should be winning this. Just watch out for the top left and right. You might be just hooking somebody who comes there. But most of that you should be okay.
Oh. Thought it was gonna release. I didn't think he was just gonna spin.
Yeah.
I get pushed by.
That's fine. Try to.
What is happening?
You
I'm like
get,
stuck on something.
wait, you get stuck
Why
in the
am I
cart?
walking- I'm just walking left for some reason.
Oh, maybe
right.
the keyboard broke or something? Not sure. Oh, interesting. Maybe there's a bug. I'm not sure what's happening.
There we go.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
what happened. I unplugged my keyboard though.
Okay, it got released. I see, like that example, they didn't know that you coming, so that was
That's
good to
awesome,
look to hook right away. Yeah, like now they know, so you need to take the time. They need to be more patient. Yeah, one angle at a time. Yeah, that's always gonna be challenging.
That's not good. There's an Ana.
That's okay. You might just try to find a way to get close to them. Make sure you get maybe top right, go under, go up the stairs. The best things for you to deal with really Ash, Mercy, Ana. Well, maybe Ball if they diving in too deep, but yeah. Okay, this is an easy pick for us.
Is she up there? Oh, she is up there. Yeah, I knew she was going for that.
Mm-hmm. That's okay.
That's not a good spot.
Yeah, you wanna maybe trap them in. Yeah, usually if they push you like this in enclosed space, you can just trap them in the corner. Like that ball is one of the best targets, really. A lot of times. Top right is not bad as well to work for because you can control the ship after. Nice, looking good. Okay. I see they know. And they know gotta wait for them a lot of times.
This ball likes to spin around the point. He doesn't like to let go. Or Bjorn.
We should be okay. Just keep dealing with the one angle at a time. You can definitely deal with the ball a lot. If you get to their backline, then just hook their backline. Should be okay. So the priority is definitely squishies.
Oh, their Mercy just left.
Yeah, it seems like there are a lot of people leaving. Okay, so see, for example, against the ball, okay, you want to find this convenient time. So you rather be patient, wait for them to make a move, yeah, something big. Maybe they slammed in, okay, I can hook that. Or maybe there's a perfect just pattern, you know, it's easy to hit, also hit that. Yeah, you kind of want to be more lazy. Like, see, that ball, don't hook him, or just wait for him to slam. Or when he's standing still when shooting. That's okay. Like that Mercy after flight can also be okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh, that's a bob.
yeah, that's okay. We can do one angle at a time. Okay, if they're gonna push us, might just drop them in too, but yeah, that's just fine for us.
Mercy.
Be careful, HP. Oh, okay.
Ah,
That was close. Yeah, good patience. So team's getting back, and then we can look for options. What to do with the hook.
that one was an accident.
Yeah, that's okay. As long as they use something, you can look for the hook after. Usually, you just find something big, like ball goes for slam. Okay, like wait for him to slam. Oh, actually, okay. In this case, when he's using the slam, you just aim the ground and then you hook him. Just don't hook him mid-air, like where you aimed. You just want to aim the ground. So it's gonna be easy. Like here, you're gonna aim at the ground. Yeah, yeah, okay, close. Just a little bit earlier.
Late.
Yeah, a little bit earlier. Any good? He's gonna slam soon. You can maybe hook them as well. Yeah, oh, that's okay.
Oh, that's a tracer roll.
Okay, close.
Hey, I was early that time.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just there's also ground. You see, like this is more. How it's
Sloped.
yes, yeah, exactly, sloped. Yeah, I think this is the word. That's why it's a little bit different. You have to make sure your hook is more horizontal to the
it's
ground.
Bob is still there.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just really the rare case when it's like more sloped. You have to aim a little bit up, but yeah, it's fine, honestly. No, you'll get
I
used
didn't
to
think
it.
Bob could see me from all the way over there.
Is the ball is gonna speed up during the slam usually? Like he's gonna slam, okay, then you aim the ground like now. Okay, well that's
Hit it.
fine. That's fine. Anyway, you guys push pretty far. Honestly, the competitive game you probably might also hold the first point, second point. So that's all good. All right, all right. Yeah, looking decent. I hope that makes sense. With just one angle at a time, really at all costs. If you're able to also maintain good sidelines, the long range, mid range, you generally speaking, you will be okay. I think there's gonna be no problem. You know, one small thing I wanted to add about the hook because we talked about the pattern. You can also stop the Q. I think, yeah. We talked about the pattern and just hooking at the right time. You're gonna find versus some of the characters because you want to take the time, yeah, like remember if they know that you can hook them, you take more time, right? But you can also even bait them with the small mechanics. I'm just gonna show you something real quick. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so here go normal. There's a small thing you can do if you don't want to hook right away, because sometimes I think you could have waited a little bit. You can simply try to bait an enemy by using your melee. There's a small thing, but it's especially applicable against any character if you know they have something defensive. What do you want to bait? For example, Genji. If he's looking at me and they know already that I'm about to fight them, I can just try to use the melee and bait their deflect. And because I did bait the deflect, I can try to hook them after. Yeah, or you can also do the similar stuff for the Tracer, or, well, just making...
Zarya.
Oh? Oh,
Or
Zarya.
Zarya.
Yeah, Zarya is also a good example, to be honest. If they exactly fighting you, they self-focus, you're like, okay, I'm baiting you initially. Of course, not everybody's falling for it. Maybe some players are also not aware that you are actually trying to bait them. But, yeah, it's something you can do. If they're really focused fighting you, yeah, you quickly do that, and after that, you can expose that a little bit more. Okay, I think for the most part, that's about it. We can summarize. Let's see, what do we got out of today with you? Yeah, you tell me. What are the concepts so far?
So trying to find angles there, only one person shooting me at a time. So like trying to limit how much damage I'm intaking. Sorry, I put a piece of candy in my mouth as soon as you
That's okay.
asked.
That's all right. That's all good. Okay.
Also, small mechanical things for Roadhog, being patient with it. So if someone's, if they know I'm there, then, trying to be patient with the hook, waiting for a better opportunity than just trying to throw it straight in.
Oh, okay.
If they don't know I'm there, then, it's okay to hook right away especially even if I'm close enough. Um, um, the smaller thing of, trying to bait it with the melee. But the biggest thing being the trying to limit the amount of damage I'm taking by only taking one angle at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds good, I think. And maybe let's just try out this small thing with the timing. Just instead of you exactly anticipating, thinking what your team might be doing with the cooldowns, maybe try to see what they are doing currently. Yeah, like watch what they are doing, yes, but at the same time, first off, focus on their position. Simply line of sight where they can fight. Maybe let's see if that works out better. It should be okay. So far, timing seems to improve as well. I like the setup too. You definitely take those angles more. So this is great. This is great to see. I definitely think the next time we look into the other things as well a little bit more.